Hello everyone, back to today's second video. So here in the weekend forecast, you can find the video tab here on the home page. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's underneath the link ads. There's also the written version you get that from the buttons at the top of the page. Essentially, it's going to be interesting week because we've got some hot weather coming up and the risk of thunderstorms as well. But I'll let you have a look at weekend forecast and see what you think. This is the CFS 6 months look ahead. As the name says on the tin, we're going to go 6 months ahead with the long-range CFS model. And this is going to take us, can you believe it, we're going into next year with this update. It's going to take us from next month, August, through to January 2018. So we're heading off through the rest of summer, what's left of summer, through the autumn, and into the winter as well with this update. Now, as I always have to say, there are big caveats with this. It's just for fun, it's a snapshot what model is showing today when I'm doing the video for the next 6 months. But you should not be taking what you see in this update all that seriously. I hope I'm not giving anything away by saying that. Now, the first 1 or 2 months, they do have some scientific merit because it's only a short time away. So if the model is working correctly, hopefully the first couple of months is going to be semi-reliable anyway. But as we get through sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 months away, that is in the realm of just for fun. And we can't take what the model is saying all that seriously, just take it with a pinch of salt. So we'll start off with 700 millibar height anomalies, and then we'll have a look at the corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with those heights, beginning with what is hopefully the most reliable out of all of this, which is August 700 millibar height anomaly. So this is the expected pressure distribution for August from CFS V2. So it's going for below average heights to be to our north and above average heights to be down to southwest and northerly displaced Azores high. The jet stream is going through rather like that. And I think essentially this is a continuation of the pattern that we've had through the summer, really, because this area of high pressure is close to us. The Azores high is further north than normal, so it's ridging in. At times, it'll be throwing off ridges over the country, and at times those ridges will even get to the east. So when they get to the east, they'll be pulling up southerly winds, which are going to be hot, possibly bringing thunderstorms. However, with the below average heights to our north, there will be enough energy in the Atlantic to break those ridges down. So essentially, I think we continue with the pattern of the summer really into August. It should be pretty warm, probably risk of thunderstorms at times as well. Now we go through to September, and actually there's not much to play with in September. This is what CFS tends to do to us. Don't have a huge amount to work with. What we do see is a little area of above average heights just down across the southwest of England, interestingly. Otherwise, across the whole of the Atlantic, from America over there, Europe over here, and across most of Europe as well, right way back into Western Russia. There's hardly anything going on. So I think the model doesn't really have all that much of a signal for September, except perhaps we have the hints, anyway, that we might have some high pressure down to the south and southwest of the country. Much stronger signal for October. We're 3 months away now, of course, so reliability is falling, but it's essentially seeing a zonal sort of October with high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. And we're bringing the jet stream, which of course, because it's October, jet stream is starting to strengthen. We're bringing the jet stream through from the Atlantic into Europe rather like that. That could be a fairly Atlantic-driven and changeable month. Heading off to November, we find height strengthening down to our south and to our southwest as well. So a big ridge there is extending in from the Atlantic. Low pressure is up here. The jet stream is coming through like that. That could bring a lot of dry weather to southern parts of the country, more and south in the north. The main thing with that is that it's going to be very mild because we're dragging the air up from that sort of direction in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's going to be pulling up a lot of very mild air into November. And that continues to December. Now, this is 5 months away. So at this stage, I'd say there's no need to get behind the sage long if you want cold weather this winter, because it's too far away to worry about. It's just for fun. But the model is looking pretty brutal from a cold perspective, because it's got this big ridge here through central parts of Europe and extending down to the Mediterranean. There's a trough in the central Atlantic. And, well, we'd be doing something like that with the flow. We'd be pulling up the air from the Canary Islands and Madeira. So obviously that would be a very, very mild December. Shades of December 2015 with that one. Then finally we go to January, which is 6 months away. First month of 2018. It's just for fun. But the model has above average heights centred to our east, also a little bit to the northeast, interestingly. The Azores Eye looks like it's beginning to pull out into the Atlantic a little bit. Low pressure is here. A little bit of a battleground UK type month. The model is going to go for milder than average, but of course, with above average heights to our east, and also interestingly towards Scandinavia, we wouldn't totally rule out the chance of some colder incursions from the southeast. But anyway, that's 6 months away, so there's no point worrying about that. Okay, let's have a look at the temperature anomalies then. We're going to come back to August. So what model is seeing for August is just average temperature anomalies. I think they're a little bit on the pessimistic side, really. Remember, we've got above average heights centering down here, and below average heights are up here. I suppose the model wants to bring through a flat westerly flow, but because of what's happened so far this summer, we know that this area of high pressure is probably going to start to push up ridges into the west of Europe, dragging up hot air at times from the south. And yes, the low pressure will be there to the north and west, and it will at times provide cooler incursions from the north and west. But overall, I would have thought another warmer than average, hotter than average month is likely in August. I think the model is a little bit on the stingy side with its temperature forecast for August. For September, again, not a huge amount to go. Remember, the height anomaly was just placing a bit of a ridge there. Otherwise, nothing else really was doing with the heights, and very little is to be seen with the temperatures either. So sort of western, southwestern Europe a little bit warmer than average, but elsewhere it's just average, and the east of Europe is actually hinted at to be a little bit cooler than average. So not much to play with in terms of the signals for September. I am struggling a little bit this month with September. October, not a great deal to be seen. Remember, for October, looked a very westerly month, really, with low pressure up here, high pressure was down here, and you will think we're bringing in a westerly flow. By October, the jet stream is strengthening, so the ridge from the Azores should be a little bit weaker, perhaps, allowing more rain-bearing systems in from the Atlantic. November turns mild. This is 4 months away. Don't be too concerned. But remember, for November, we're dragging up long-fetched southwesterly sort of winds like that, with high pressure around here. Oops, I'm not sure what's going on there. So high pressure was around there. Low pressure was up here. I'm not sure what's going on there. Better get rid of that and start again. Okay, so we've got low pressure going on up here. We've got high pressure down there, and in between we're pulling in a southwesterly flow. So that's the reason the model is going warmer than average for November. And then that turns quite brutal into December, because in December, remember, we've got the above average heights around here. We've got below average heights, low pressure in the central part of the Atlantic. And in between, the jet stream would be doing something a little bit like that. So it would be dragging up the air from kind of like the Canary Islands, Madeira, that sort of area down here. Well, that's shades of December 2015. So really brutal if you want cold weather. But it's 5 months away, so don't be too concerned. And we go through to January, and that just rounds it all off for the winter months. with another exceptionally mild temperature forecast there for not just the UK, but for most parts of Europe too. We hadn't better dwell on that too long. We'll be upsetting the cold lovers that are watching. Coming back again to August with the precipitation anomalies. So in August, we're seeing drier than average for much of France and some parts of the UK. That's indicative of the Azores high being ridgy. So drier than average is down there. Wetter than average is here because we've got low pressure towards the north of Scotland. So again, I just see a continuation of the pattern that we've had through the summer. And for the south, that could be more hot weather coming up during the course of August. September, again, the signals are very weak. Not really all that much to play with in September, other than possibly we are on the drier than average side. I think reading between the lines, the model is probably seeing quite a dry and warmish month for September to start the autumn, a continuation of summer into September. But it is a very, very weak signal. October, so again, signals are quite weak, a little bit wetter than average in the north perhaps, so low pressure is up here, high pressure is down there somewhere, the jet stream is coming through rather like that. A typical sort of westerly October, if model is right. Turns a little bit wetter in the north and west through into November. Spain is looking significantly drier than average. That's because we're building up the ridge, of course, down there. For us, a little bit more impacted by the jet stream. So yes, there could be some rain, various systems coming through at times. December turns very wet. Again, that's because we're dragging up that flow from the Canary Islands and Madeira. So not only is it exceptionally mild, it's also moisture laden. So there's a lot of rain coming in through the course of December. And then we finish up, put your teeth back in, Gav, we finish up on January, or in January, 6 months away. And the signals go a little bit weaker, but overall a little bit more on the drier than average side perhaps. We've got ridging going on here. So the weather systems and the jet stream being pushed off up there somewhere. That would just be a very quiet January, I would have thought, bringing a lot of dry weather. At times it might be a little bit chillier, certainly compared to December, because we don't have that influence from the Canary Islands, but perhaps quite a boring month in some ways in January. But as it's 6 months away, who cares? So coming back to the more reliable time frame of all of this, it looks as though August is a continuation of the pattern through the summer. Get serious a little bit for a moment. August is a continuation of the pattern we have through the summer, which means expect more hot weather at times. It's now the temperature discarded. It's too low. It's on the stingy side. So the temperature anomaly for August should still be coming out hotter than average, particularly so in the south, with more of what happened in the summer, which is heat waves interspersed by cooler conditions. September is a real enigma on this update. Very, very weak signals for September. Overall, probably erring a little bit more on the drier and warmer side of things. And then by October, perhaps going a bit more Atlantic driven, so a little bit more action starting to take place by the time you get through into October. Beyond that, it does look exceptionally mild for the early winter, but I don't think we need to worry about that. Start worrying more about the winter part of these updates when we get to September. That's really when it all begins to crank up. And we start to get a little bit more serious in terms of the winter. Okay, that's it for CFS 6 months. Okay, don't forget to check out Weekend Forecast if you haven't yet done so. Tomorrow we will have the Gas Weather Sunday Roundup as usual, but we'll also have some analogues for the autumn. Our good friend James Ackroyd has been trawling through the analogues, beavering away, and we've got some interesting analogues for you for the autumn of 2017 coming up tomorrow. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.